My name is Murat, and in this video I will try to demonstrate how to create a responsive pop-up form as a plugin in WordPress. In this video I will demonstrate how you can take an already existing responsive pop-up form made with HTML and CSS and make a similar one as a WordPress plugin with a little bit of PHP code. Here I have my plugin. It's a simple plugin made with HTML, CSS, and a little bit jQuery. And as you see, this is a discount plugin where you can get 10% off when you buy next time you buy on Zalando. You can enter your name here in this field, and you can enter your email address here. And then you can click on this call to action button, and then you can receive an email. So here up in the right corner we have a close button. When you click on this, it will close or hide this pop-up button. And if I inspect this web page, you will see that this plugin is also responsive. So I will go now and say pixel 2 and say refresh, and now we have our plugin, responsive plugin here. But here we have iPhone 6, 7, 8, and here we have iPhone 7, 8 Plus, and here we have again iPhone X, and here we have an iPad. So as you see, this plugin is responsive. And I will now close this inspect tool, and I will now try to give you some instructions how you can create your own or create a similar pop-up form in WordPress. Let's go back here. The source code can be downloaded on GitHub, and this is my repo where you can go and download the final resource or the final code. I assume that you already have an existing WordPress org installation on your domain and that you have access to your control panel on your domain. I will be using one.com as my web hosting company, and my WordPress website URL is this. Good, let's continue. So, step 1, you need to log on to your control panel on your domain. Now I will do that. And I will now click on control panel, and here I will now log in to my control panel. Good, I'm in now. The next step, so step 1 is done. Done. Next step, step 2, go and open your file manager on your control panel. Good. So I will scroll a little bit down, and here you see I have file and security. I have my file manager. Click on this one. Good. Next step. Done with this one. So step 3, go and open your WordPress root folder, the folder where you have installed WordPress. In my case, I have WordPress folder named Basic WordPress. Good. So I will scroll a bit down, and here we have Basic WordPress. So double click. Good. Next step. Step 4. Go and open the subfolder WP content, and then open the subfolder again, plugins. I will do that now. Here we have the folder WP-content, and now I need to go and find the folder named plugins. Good. This is the plugins folder. Let's go back. Done. Step 5. Create a new folder inside the plugins and name it responsive pop-up form. So this is going to be the new folder name. Copy, go back. So here I will say, up here we have a call to action button, create a new folder. And the folder name is responsive with small letters, responsive, popup dash dash form. Enter. So now I've created this new folder inside the subfolder plugins. Next, go back here. Done. Step 6. Now go and open an FTP client program FileZilla and transfer your existing project files and folders from your local machine to your newly created folder responsive pop-up form on your domain. Good. And I will now open FileZilla. Actually, FileZilla is open, and I will try to reconnect to my FTP server. Good. I'm now reconnected to my FTP server. And here we have, on the right side, I have my FTP server. Here we have the WordPress installation folder, basic WordPress, and here we have the WP content folder, and here we have plugins, and now you see I have my newly created folder, responsive pop-up form. On the left side I have my local machine, and I will now go and find my source code. So it's applications, it's XAMPP, it's htdocs, and let's see if I can. Here we have it. Here is the folder I need to use. So I will now double click on the folder and mark the index.html file, the CSS folder, the images folder, and the JS folder. And I will now say upload, and this will be uploaded to the right side, which is my FTP server, where I have my WordPress installation and where I have my plugins folders. Upload. Now we have uploaded the files to the responsive pop-up form folder. Good. Next step. So we're done with step 6. Step 7. Go back to your domain and log into your control panel and open File Manager and open WP Content Plugins Response Pop-up Form folder. Good. Actually, I'm already logged in, so I don't have to log into my control panel, and I'm actually already on the File Manager, and I'm also in the right folder, responsive, in the plugins folder, and here we have the files that are just transferred with the FileZilla client program. Good. So we are on the right place now. So step 7 is also done. Step 8 says find a file index.html and rename it to index.php. Good. So I will now click here, mark this file index.html and say rename, and now I will rename this file to index.php. I'll remove the HTML extension and substitute it with PHP. Enter. Do you want to change the extension type? Yes, I do. Good. Let's go back. So step 8 is also done. Step 9. Set up your plugins information on top of your index.php with multi-line comments. So now we need to begin and use a little bit PHP code inside the index.php file. Go back here. So here we have the file index.php. If I click once, it will open this. And now we see this is a bunch of HTML lines. The first thing I need to do is go to line 1, and I need to open PHP by entering open PHP tag. It's less than character, question mark, and with small letters PHP. Good. Now I need to make a comment inside PHP, and it's a multi-line comment. So how do I create a multi-line comment in PHP? Well, it's like CSS. You begin with a slash star, and then you have star slash, and in between here I can now make comments. So the first thing you need to do is to make a star again, and then you need to write plugin name. So all what you enter in this part will be available and show up to you on the dashboard, on WordPress, on the dashboard. And when you go to plugins, where you have all the plugins, the information you enter here up in the top of the index.php file will be available there, so you can see it with your eyes when you go and search for different plugins. So plugin name here, it will be responsive pop-up form plugin. Next line, description. And this will be this is a responsive pop-up form plugin for a fictive company, Zalando. The plugin is based on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and PHP. Then we have the plugin UR. Again, I need to begin with a star and then plugin URI. It's not an L but an I as ice cream. And now I enter my website where you can find a demo of this plugin. So basic WordPress, my domain is WordPress / testing responsive pop-up form. This is the URL you have to enter when I'm done with the plugin, and then you can test and see my plugin. Then we have the version. Version is, for now, it's 0.2.2, let's say .2.2, and then we have the author, and the author will be my name, author, and author UI URI will be the same address as this one. Good. And the license on a new line will be open source GPL2. Good. So this is the first part that you always need to do when you create a plugin. You need to have a description, or where you define the different things: the plugin name, the description, the plugin URL, the version, author, and the author UI, and so on. And it should be inside a multi-line comment in PHP. Good. Let's go back. We're done with step 9. Done. Step 10. Create a PHP function that builds your responsive pop-up form. Good. So I will go back now and I will create a function. So this function will be a function where we build our responsive pop-up, and typically this is based on HTML. So I will now show you how you can include HTML from this is the HTML I have, all this that I mark now, how you can include all this HTML code until this line into, or how you can embed it into your PHP So now I will show you that. So the first thing I need to do is to make a comment here. So I will write a comment here, creating a responsive pop-up form. And I will create a function. Now function, and the name for this function will be responsive underline pop-up underline form. So it's very important that if you have a long name and if you want to put them together, you need to have actually an underline in between each word. You can't have space in between here. You need to have underline. So the function name is responsive pop-up form, and then I need to have a begin and end bracket, and then I need to put a beginning and an end curly bracket. Inside this, I will now go and create a variable, and the variable begins with the letter dollar. In PHP, a variable begins with the letter dollar, and then I will give it a name, $content, equal to 2 single quotation marks. It means this temporary variable, which can contain some data, is now empty. Next is go and use the same name here for the variable. This time I use dot equal, which means concatenation, which means that I want to add something to the previous line of $content, which is empty, add some text or something. And in this case, I want to add some of the HTML code I have here. So I will actually add the div I have here on line 32. I will cut it out and insert this line of HTML into my single quotation mark. And I will do this again, make another variable with the same name, $content, dot equal, and again 2 single quotation marks. And remember to put the semicolon after each line. And I will take the next line I have here, cut it out, and insert it. And actually, I will do this again, make a variable with the same name, content dot equal, and then 2 single quotation marks, and take the next line. So this will take a few minutes. I think it will take approximately 5 minutes. So I will do that. Good, I'm almost done now. So this is the last line of HTML code that I embed into PHP, into the PHP variable. So I take this last div from my form and insert it here. Good. So now we have all our HTML inside this $content variable that I concat. So in the beginning, on line 15, it's empty, this variable, and then I add line 16, 17, and so on until I have built my plugin. So if we go here now to line 21, you see that I have an image. So I need actually to have a reference exactly to the right place where I have my images, and my images are stored in a folder. If you remember, here we have my plugins folder. I have a folder with the name images. So I need to make some PHP code here that will redirect me to the right folder. The way we do this is by, if I take this now and cut it out, so I cut this out, and here inside this 2 empty double quotation mark, I enter 2 single quotation marks. Inside this 2 single quotation marks, I add now plugins, the method plugins URL, which is a function in PHP, put in. So the .plugins URL is actually returning me to, it will return me to my domain, to my WordPress folder, to the wp-content folder, to the plugins folder. So when I'm using this plugins URL, it will give me the URL or the path until plugins. So here I can now insert the name of my plugin, the folder of my plugin, which was responsive popup-form. And then we can say slash and then insert the path that I have in my memory, which is images slash pg image.jpg here. So this is the way that I can now, and I need to add a dot here. So actually this all what I have here will make my code more dynamic, and it will return the correct path to my WordPress installation and to the plugins folder there, and then it will go to the responsive-popup-form, which is my plugin folder, and then go to the subfolder there, which is named images, and then go to the pg image.jpg file. Good. It says that we have an error here. Let me check and see. Yeah, I need to have the dot before. So I had an error here on line 21, and the error was because the dot should be before the ending single quotation mark. So I had the dot here before. I deleted the dot and inserted the dot before the end single quotation mark. Good. So I say save now. Good. So I can actually now go and delete. Actually, so this is what we have left for so far. You can remove all the empty space. So this is what is left from our index.html file. Good. Save the file now and go back. Actually, the last thing I have to do is I have to say return and then say return to $.content, which is my variable. This will actually display or return the whole $content variable, which contains now the end the whole code, which is my responsive pop-up form. We'll continue. Go back. So the next step 10 is now done. Step 11, create your own WordPress shortcode. So a shortcode is a unique code that you have in WordPress. So when you want to display a certain plugin in WordPress, it could be my plugin or another plugin, you need to, when you develop a plugin, you need to use this function add underline shortcode, where you define the name of your shortcode and then a function that contains the in my case my responsive pop-up form. So I will have to write add underline shortcode. So add underline shortcode. Then a parenthesis, and in this parenthesis I will now have a semicolon after the parenthesis end here. So what you need to do now is you need to, I will put a comment here again. One hashtag means it means single line of comment in PHP, and I will write a comment so it's easy for you to remember what this function does. First parameter is, it's because this add shortcode contains two parameters, and I will do this by making two single quotation marks, a comma, and then two single quotation marks. And inside the first one, you can here define a self-chosen name for a unique shortcode. Second parameter is the name of the function that built Second parameter is the name of the function that build my responsive pop-up form. And this means, so in the first field here, or the first parameter, which is the first single quotation mark, inside here, I will now write the name. And the name for the shortcode that people need to enter when they want to display this pop-up or responsive pop-up on the WordPress page should be show underline responsive underline pop-up underline form. So you need to enter this inside two sharp parentheses where on WordPress on a page or on a blog post, and then this plugin will pop up there or be displayed there. The second parameter was the name of my function that built my responsive form, and the name for the function was responsive pop-up form without the end begin end parentheses. So here I'll go to my second parameter here and insert this one. Good. And remember we have the semicolon here. So we are done. We have now created a shortcode back here. So we are done. Done with step 11. Step 12. Add action hook. Add action hook allows you to add data or change how WordPress operates. Action will run a specific point in the execution of WordPress, and you can perform some kind of task like echoing out to the user or inserting something to the database. Good, so I will now add an action hook. So go back to my code and I will go here, make a comment again. This time I will say write the comment will be for the comment I will write add underline action, which is a hook, and this has two parameters. So make two single quotation marks, comma, and again two single quotation marks, and after the end parenthesis I'll make a semicolon. So let's make a comment here. Use action hook in WordPress plugin development to execute underline enqueue scripts with function register underline styles underline and underline scripts underline for underline responsive pop-up form. So this was the comment before making the hook add action. And now I need, in the first parameter, I need to use a method in WordPress that is named WP underline enqueue scripts. So this is not a script that I created, but this is a standard method in WordPress that means, or that says, execute my scripts. And here in the second parameter I will insert the name of the function that is not created yet, but I will create it, and the name for this function will be register underline styles underline and underline scripts underline for underline responsive underline pop-up underline form. This is a function. It's a function that I named, and it has a long name with underscore in between each word. Good. So now we're done with add action. So step 12 is done. Let's continue with step 13. Create a PHP function that enqueues links to, enqueues means here, it is linking to style sheets files. It's also linking to JavaScript files. So the following method is used to link to a style sheet. So that this function here, WP underline enqueue underline style, means that here with this method you can link to style sheets. And we have another method which is wp_enq_script, which is a method that you can use to link to script files. And if I should compare it, it's like here when we have simple HTML, that we are using the tag link when we want to link to different style sheets, external style sheets. For example, here we have an example where I linked to something called unnamed fonts.google APIs. It's a special font that I links to. Here we have another style sheet that I'm linking to. Here I have another style sheet. It's my internal style sheet that I'm linking to. So we can use vp_enq style to link to style sheet. Again, normally when we're working with HTML, simple HTML and CSS and JavaScript, we can also link to script files where we say script, and then we have a source attribute, and then we have the URL where we link here to jQuery. And here we have another JavaScript library, which is materialize.min.js that we'll link to. Again, we use the tag script, and if you want to use this in WordPress, then you don't use script, you use wp_enq_script. So let me show how we can do this. And the first thing we need to do is we need to write the function. This function here, this is going to be a function. So first you need to say function with small letters. It's the way you start a function in PHP, and then the name of the function, and it's just the name. And then we have begin and parenthesis, and then we have a curly bracket begin and a curly bracket end. So inside this we can now link to different style sheets. So if you remember here, we have, for example, a style sheet here that I want to link to. So in WordPress, the way we do it, I will take this URL and say copy or cut. So now I cut it out. And the way we do it is by saying wp_enq_style. Then you make a begin and end parenthesis and end, and after the end parenthesis you make a semicolon. Here we have two parameters. So I'm making two single quotation marks and a comma, and then two single quotation marks. In the first one, I have to define a unique name for this style sheet. So I will find a unique name and I will give it the name custom materialize, because this is the name of the file that I want to link or enqueue CSS. So custom materialize CSS. This is a unique name that you give it, and then in the second parameter you put in the URL. And I have the URL in my memory, so I just say right click and say insert. So now I have inserted the URL, and this is one line where we are linking to this resource, which is a font. So actually, this is actually a custom font. So we could write custom font materialize. So I've changed the unique name because it is a font. It says here it's a family, it's a font. So I will now say vp_enq style custom font materialize. Good. Next, I will now link to this CSS file. Again, copy this URL. Let's try to do it again. Cut it out. Go back and now write again wp_enq_style, because it's a style sheet. A parenthesis, begin end, and a semicolon, and inside we need two parameters, comma, and again two single quotation marks. Okay, sorry. So the first one is not a font. So I will this is not a font, but this is some icons. I will name this custom materialize CSS, and the second one here will be custom font materialize. And now we can insert the URL I have in memory. Insert. Good. So now we have linked to these two style sheets. The next one is, if I go back, you see I have my own style sheet. So this is my own style sheet. Cut it out. And again, you will have to write WP underline enqueue underline style, and then a parenthesis, begin end, and a semicolon. This time I will write custom style sheet first, and then comma, and then make two single quotation marks. And this time I will have to have a method in WordPress that can redirect me to the correct path. So I want to find out how I can link to inside my plugins folder. I have a folder named CSS, and inside this I have my own custom CSS. So how can I do that? Well, the easy way to show it. So what I want to do, if I just say, so yeah, here I can do that. I can say two single quotation marks, and then I can say, so after the comma, I will use this function plugins URL, which is a method or function in WordPress, and make two begin end parentheses. And here, remember, this method here will return me to the correct path, which is my WordPress folder, which is basic WordPress, and to the folder wp-content, and to the plugins folder. And I can now write here the name of my own plugin, which is responsive popup-form / CSS, where I have my style sheet, and I can write WP style. Remember, I'm writing WP style.css and not style CSS because I have actually two style sheet inside this CSS folder. Style CSS was the original one, but I created another one that is customized, because there are some difference between the first one, which was only working on my local machine, and the second one, WP style, is one that I made after, because there was some changes that I needed to make some changes to my WordPress pop-up plugin, because it was not looking exactly the same way. So I needed to go in and make some changes to my style sheet. Therefore, I created a second one that is named WP style CSS. Good. If I use style CSS, it won't work. It won't look so pretty good, my plugin. So therefore, I already made before doing this video, I made this WP style with all the changes. Next step is to link to all my script files. So we can actually delete all what we have here. We don't need all this part. So delete all this doc type, head, meta tag, and end head tag and body. We don't need this. Delete this. Good. So now we have to enqueue or link to the three script files we have here. So we will again begin writing wp enqueue underline script. So this time it's not a style, but it's a script. So you write wp enqueue script. And before making an enqueue, I want to make a deregister. Deregister means that you want to remove an existing script. And remember, WordPress has, from out of the box, it comes with many different style sheets, and it also comes with many different JavaScript libraries. So I want to deregister jQuery. So a way that you can remove the jQuery library that WordPress comes out of the box with is by saying wp underline deregister underline script, and then you can enter here the unique name, and I know it's jQuery, so this way I can remove it. So next step now is to make another WP, this time enqueue underline script, because I want to link to a script file, and this time we need 5 parameters here. 5 parameters. Good. In the first one, you need to give it a unique name, and I want actually now to link to this one here, to jQuery. So I will write custom, again it should be a unique name, jQuery script. This is a unique name that I found. And in the second parameter you need to insert the URL. So I will cut this out, and insert this as the second parameter. The third parameter here is whether you have dependency. So whether this file here that I'm linking is depending on another file. In this case, it's not depending on another file. So you can just write array and then make a begin end parenthesis. The fourth parameter is the version number. So you can go and define a version number, but if you don't know the version number, a version number could be a number like this, but I don't know the version number. But you can also just make it empty by writing null. Null means that you don't know the exact number. And I think I made a little error. So the array here is the third parameter, but we shouldn't use the single quotation mark around it. And how can we see that this is the third parameter? Well, each time you have a comma, you separate one parameter from another one. So this is the one parameter, the first one. This is the second parameter, and this is the third parameter, array without single quotation mark around it. And then we have the fourth parameter, and here we have the version number, and we don't have to put again single quotation mark around it. So we just write null without any single quotation mark. So, and this is now the fifth parameter, and this is whether we should link to our script file in the head or in the footer. So where do you want to link this script file? There are some performance issues, so you could decide to link it either in the head or in the footer. When you write true here, it means that you want to link to this file in the footer of your document. Good. Now we have to enqueue another file. So wp underline enqueue underline script, and this time in parentheses, and then again we need to have 5 parameters. So this is the way I do it. I make it ready, and then again the first parameter is a unique name, so it will be custom materialize script. And the second parameter is a URL, and we have the URL here down. You can cut it out here, cut it out, insert it. Good. And then we have the third parameter. Again, this is the dependency, and here you write array, and then inside the parentheses you can now say that the second script that we are linking to should be depending on the first one, which is this one, custom jQuery script. So I can write here the unique name that tells me the dependency. So this second script is depending on the first script that I'm enqueuing or linking to. Good. Then we have the fourth parameter, which is null again. We don't, and if it's not null, it's actually typically a number, 1.5 something, but I don't know the numbers. I will just write null. And the fourth parameter tells us whether we should link in the head of the document or in the footer of the document. And again, I'll write true. It means I want to link this file in the footer. So the last WP enqueue that we're doing now is for the last custom script that I have. Again, make ready for 5 parameters. The first one is again a unique name, and this will be custom script. The second parameter will be the path. So again, the path, I need to have an easy way to link to the folder inside my plugins folder. I have a folder with the name, subfolder with the name JS, and which includes my custom script. So again, I can use this plugins underline URL and then a begin end parenthesis, and here I can give the name of my plugin folder. It's responsive dash popup dash form slash JS slash, and now I can delete the JS because we have actually the subfolder here. I can cut this out, cut it out, and insert it just after the slash here. So good. And the third parameter is again array, and the parenthesis begin end. This time my script file here, custom script, is depending on this custom, sorry, yeah, is depending on this one here. The fourth parameter is again null, is the version number, and the fifth parameter is whether we should link this script file in the head or the footer, and this will be linked in the footer, so it will be true. Good. So now I'm done with this function. The function was named register underline styles underline and underline scripts underline for underline responsive underline pop-up underline form, and here we are linking to different style sheets and different script files. So let's go back. Actually, before going back, we can delete all the stuff we have here now. We can also delete end body and HTML tag. Good. So let's go back. So now we are done with step 13. Step 14, insert closing PHP tag inside the index PHP file. So now we're done. We just need to go back here, and then after this end color brackets, we need to say closing PHP, which is question mark and a greater character. This is how the way we are closing PHP. We began with opening PHP tag on line 1, and this is how we end PHP, by making a question mark character and a greater than character. Now, before continuing to the next step, I just want to see if I have some errors, and I see that I have an error here on line 70. So it's WP underline in Q and not ENA, so this should be a Q. And I see also that we have an error here on line 76. We also need to put on the third parameter array, where we define the script that we are dependent on, we need also to put in 2 single quotation marks inside the parentheses here. So please put them. And on line 74, again on the array where we have the dependency, again put 2 single quotation marks around the unique name we have here. And here on line 72, we don't put single quotation mark around the fifth parameter. We just write true, and this fifth element was telling whether we want to link to our script in the head or in the footer of our document. Good, I think so, it looks good. So now we are ready to save our document again. So go up and say save. Good. Now let's go back and see what is the next step. So step 14 is now done. Log into your WordPress dashboard and click on plugins. Step 15. Good. Then click now on plugins, and let's see whether we can see our plugin here, if it's available. If you scroll a little bit down, you will see that we have here our plugin, responsive pop-up form plugin. This is the name of the plugin that we gave it, and here we have the short description, and we have the version number, we have the author, and we have a link to where we can visit the website. Now let's try to activate it. I think this is step, step 15 was to allocate it, and we did that, so this is done. And step 16 says find your plugin and responsive pop-up form and activate it. So let's go back and now activate it on step 16. Activate and see what happens. Good, it says our plugin is activated. Nice. So this was step 16. 16 is done. Step 17. Create a new page and name it testing responsive pop-up form. So let's go back to WordPress dashboard and now go and let's click on pages and go and say add new page. And let's give this title, this page, testing responsive pop-up form. And we can now go and click on this plus icon in Gutenberg, the editor, and we can say add a shortcode. So here we can insert a shortcode by clicking on this, and we need to insert our shortcode, which is a sharp parenthesis and a closing sharp parenthesis. Inside this you will have to insert the name of the shortcode, and the shortcode was show underline responsive underline pop-up underline form. This was the name that we gave our shortcode when we created our code, our plugin. This was the name that we defined therein. So if I now say publish, and now we can say, go back and check here what it says here. Yes, we've done with step 17. Step 17 is done. Step 18 says add a shortcode. Yes, we actually also done with this. Step 16 step 18 is also done. So we're done with step 17 where we created the page and we gave the page a name, testing responsive pop-up form, and we also added a shortcode on step 18 where the shortcode was sharp parenthesis show underline responsive underline pop-up underline form. So step 18 is also done. Step 19 says open your newly created page in your browser. Let's do that. So go back here and say view page. Let's see what happens. So if everything is working, we should now see our plugin. Reload the page. Yes, and now we see our lovely pop-up plugin. We have some issues here, as you see, with the styling. The styling is not showing up correctly. The call to action button is not nice, and this image here is too centered in the mid. It should be more in the right side. So what we could do, and I have already done it, you could try if you go back to my step here. If you go back to step 20, it says here if the presentation of your, so step 19 is done. We see our plugin, but step 20 says that if the presentation of your responsive pop-up form does not look good on your WordPress page, then I will recommend you to optimize the plugin style CSS file. An easy way is to optimize your style CSS file by using the principal design in the browser. So what I'm telling you here is that you could easily go and update so it looks nice by using this nice tool. I'm using Chrome, and I can say inspect, and now I'm able to go in here. Let's say that I want to take the iPhone 6 device here, and if I want to change the width of the button, well, it's easy. I can go down, click on the element here. I want to inspect, and I can go up here and I'll go take a look at the CSS, and I can increase the size here so the button will get bigger. That's the process now you need, and then I can copy the code here and insert it, and insert this code, the CSS code. Take only the part that you changed. So this is the part, and I can go back now and insert that into my style CSS file. But I already did this, so I have actually already done this to you. So what I will do now, I will now fix this very easily. Go back now to the index.php file that we have. It's in the plugins folders, and it's inside the folder responsive. This one, responsive popup-form, and inside this we have our index.php file. Here, if you open the file, if you scroll a bit down, here down in the section where we enqueue different scripts and styles, I will now, on line 68, instead of linking to this style, I will link to WP style, because this is the style sheet I created already, where I have done all the corrections. So if I do this and change this to WP style.css and click on the save button, go back here, you can just double click on the CSS folder here. You see I have already here an WP style file which has all the corrections. So this is the style sheet that correct all the mistakes I have in my style sheet. And if I now go back to my web page here, and if I have still opened the inspect element, if I now click on the recycle bar and keep it down in 3 seconds, you see I have an option here that says empty cache and reload the page. If I do this, hopefully you will see now the page is working. So it looks more better now. See? So if I click on iPhone 10, you see it still works fine. If I click on iPad, it also looks fine. And if I click on a laptop, it also looks very good. So I can now test and see if this hide button or close button works. Yes, it works very nice. If I reload the page, you will now see that it loads up the pop-up again. So it works nicely, and I can enter some text in the field here, and I can insert my email address. And if you enter something that is wrong, it will show you that you need to enter the correct email address. Good. So step 20 is also done. Good. Thank you for watching this tutorial about how to create a responsive pop-up form in WordPress.